Good afternoon, everybody. Um, it's going to be our next week of film study here. We're going to be discussing the UVA game, a little bit of a frustrating game. Watching the offense, watching our quarterbacks sort of struggles and things like that, um, and then kind of just seeing our defense, how they looked after such a great game the previous week, and seeing how we had success against Clemson with just absolutely shutting down the run game, going into Clemson. If you listen to some of our conversations, I've started a little bit of an informal podcast with a guest we like to call the Machine, which is my dad, and it's just going into that game. We knew we had to stop counter and we had to stop inside zone. We obviously did that very, very well. And then you saw this week kind of go quite a bit differently, actually. And UVA kind of like did some stuff to us, which we really haven't seen much of this year, which was, they were really relying heavily on the outside zone, which we really haven't seen much this year of. And they were hitting it to the boundary. I mean, I watched the film. I don't think I saw one outside zone go to the white side of the field. If you've been following our content and learning about our defense throughout the year, you would have learned that we play with field and boundary ends. We play with field and boundary safeties, and we sort of take advantage of the spacing of the field in terms of specializing our positions and also how we align to certain formations. And one of the features or one of the results of that way of lining up is really, uh, we have a guy like Ruben Bain playing to the white side of the field, and then we got a guy um, like we'll see in our first clip, uh, a smaller guy, Jafari Harvey, is the guy that's playing the boundary, and so, can both of those guys stop the run? Can both of those guys, sort of, do their job? Yeah, I mean, definitely, right? But it's obviously a concerted effort by a team like UVA, with a coach like Tony Elliott, who, if you look at his background, he's kind of like he comes from that Clemson style of offense, which they coined back in the day the power spread or whatever, and so they want to have sort of a diverse run game, and they want to have a lot of sort of side to side movement, right? And so they sort of take advantage of motion. They take advantage of multiple quarterbacks, and they want to kind of get you running both directions. We saw that a lot. If you're a Canes fan, you obviously have seen us play teams that love this. Like Louisville used to do this when they had their old coach. Uh, Appalachian State does this, and so we've seen teams do this quite a bit. What Where this is a little bit different, I think, is that UVA really wanted to attack the boundary. They did, and some of the issues we had, as we'll see through the film, is not necessarily an issue of who we had there, the or the alignment, so much as it was just us getting reached or getting out leveraged or just not doing our job. And so, and again, I don't want it to, this to be like a negative thing. I think we gutted this out, and I'm super proud of the guys. I think they were awesome. And to come out, look, you want your team to come out hot every single game. Uh, you watch enough football, you see that this happens. To the best of teams. Not saying that it's good or that it's okay, but the fact that we were able to gut out a win, even though we came out flat, is pretty great. So let's cut to the film. All right, so this is the first offensive snap for UVA, and it sort of tells the story of what their game plan is for the whole game, right? So so we're gonna watch. Obviously, the ball's on the left hash right here, um, and we already have three receivers lined up to the boundary, and if I could go in further detail about this at a later time, but long story short, um, you know, we don't we don't really line up our nickel to the boundary unless we are in man coverage, and it looks like we are, and so um, you know, aligning this to the boundary really doesn't outflank us necessarily. We have enough numbers. We're playing man coverage, and it's just a matter of our guys being sort of gap sound. And here, let's run the clip. All right, so obviously we see, there's different ways to call this. Some people call it like sort of eye candy or misdirection or whatever. Okay, where you're getting conflicting reads. Obviously, this H back is going to be coming this way. We have jet motion coming this way, and it puts our second level defenders in conflict. Um, and so, yes, there may be flow issues, but that the flow issues are secondary to our run fits and to not getting reached up front. So keep an eye, up here, and keep an eye. When we see these outside zone plays, it's probably best to keep an eye on your force defender, which is up here, Jafari Harvey, and then your defensive tackles obviously play a role as well. But the quickest way to lose on an outside zone is your C gap defender, and let's see what happens. Okay. All right. So we saw something that occurred that would occur like several times in the game. Okay, where we get reached, or I can't say exactly what happens because I'm not the coach, and I don't know what their jobs are. Okay, but if we're gonna be structurally sound and say this guy goes this way, this guy goes that way, whatever. Okay, this guy still has to play a C gap. This guy looks like he is in a B gap or an A gap. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. Um, this guy looks like he's playing an A gap. LT's in a B gap, and then we have Bane in a C gap. What happens here is the reason why this happens. I'm not sure, but what happens is this guy ends up in a B gap, and then LT ends up in a B gap, and we have soft A gaps, right? And then basically there's a center with a free release on our A gap linebacker. Okay, and if you get a free release on an A gap linebacker, it's gonna be it's a very obvious cutback lane for the outside zone, and that's what we get. All right. Okay, so the next play here, the ball's about to be snapped. UVA did a pretty good job of this. They could have done it more. I'm surprised they didn't do it more. I will give them credit for picking and choosing when they use pace, and when they used it, it was effective, right? So the ball's about to be snapped. We don't have a C gap defender, and guess guess where the ball goes? Um, Not great. You know, still guys running to the ball. Tackling was not great, but whatever. Could have been worse. Okay, so man, I wish they, they did a better job with these things here. Give me some time to. Okay, so next play here, we're in a. It's like it's tough to see from this angle, but it looks like we're in what's called a fire zone. Three deep, three underneath, cover three blitz. It's a five-man pressure, and it would be locked at a five-man pressure. Like really nothing would happen that would get people to add to the rush, and I guess you would call it like a field dog. I mean, there's different ways that that you can name it, but essentially there's still the nickels coming off the edge. Then we have a linebacker scraping as well. This defensive end, which is Bain, is coming in here, right there. Then we have our contained rusher. Our rush end number 12 becomes a seam curl flat defender. Number 5 right here also becomes a seam curl flat defender, and then this looks like Wesley Basaint playing our deep middle. Not sorry, our middle hole player. So if you were to, and I'm gonna take a little bit of time on this because it becomes important for what occurs later. But essentially, these seam curl flat defenders, what their first job is is take away basically any hot throws. So this quarterback sees pressure coming from the wide side of the field. They have a tendency to throw hot where the blitz came from, and so really what we have right here is we have a receiver. We have two guys in the backfield, and then we had two more guys out here. Okay, and so sorry about that. Let me. There's a guy right here. Sorry about that. And then a receiver out here. So basically, Cam is looking for his like his first threat, which is a hot seam. Really, there's no real threat for him to the right side of the field because we have two guys in the backfield, and we had a middle hole player already on this tight end. Just keep that in mind for some of the plays that'll come later. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. All right, good stuff. Okay, so moving on to, look, I'm like, like I don't want to like sort of harp on like things that didn't go well. I'm just gonna mention this now, and be done with it. Obviously, Coach Goodrich not gonna be happy with some of the tackling. Okay, and I'm sort of the belief that most of tackling comes from effort. I think the team came out flat, and the tackling got better. Okay, so that's really what should be sort of emphasized is tackling started off not great, and then by the end of the game, I think it was great. So, credit should be given to our guys, for really stepping up there. One, two, at that that should be a punt or it should be a field goal. Instead, third and long, poor effort tackling. You know, is what it is. Okay, so let's 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 talk about um, a little bit earlier. We spoke about you know, basically a loss in gap integrity. And again, I don't know why this is happening or why it happened, but just keep an eye on this free release center, okay? And keep an eye on, on Kiko here. So, okay. All right, look. So what do we see here? I mean, and I wish we had a better camera angle, but Jared Harrison has in a B gap. We got a guy in a C gap. We got LT in a B gap also. This center right here, I mean, it's a free run to this guy. I mean, Kiko has basically no chance. He can't play two A gaps at the same time. And so plays like this happen, and it happened more than once. And I'm sure, Jason Taylor and Coach Joe weren't happy about it, but again, outside zone, um, to the short side of the field, they were doing it all game. Well, actually, there's an inside zone, but yeah, same idea with the A gaps. Okay, all right. If some of our more astute fans, okay, will see this alignment, see this offensive formation, and what do you think of? You think of the last play of the game against Clemson, right? It's essentially the same offensive formation. I don't think they're unbalanced, but it's still a trips formation put into the boundary, um, and let's think about the way that we won that game, right? Which was we have a scraping edge defender in a nine technique. This guy should be playing the quarterback. Okay. This linebacker right here, most probably, most probably is a C and A gap defender. Most probably. Looks like we have a nose right here. Probably gonna help with that A gap. So most likely this nine technique should be playing his C gap from the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Okay, it's called gap exchange. So this is his gap right here, and we get zone action or down blocks, whatever you want to call it. This guy should be exchanging gap with the linebacker so that he can scrape over the top, be a quarterback player. So this scraping defensive end is going to be uh, chasing the dive, and then allowing this linebacker to be a quarterback player. And so we see some sort of hesitation. It did not get played like how we played the last game or the last play of the game last week. And that hesitation, gives them that little bit of room they need. And there they are. Okay, so if if we were to stop it right here, and again, if I'm wrong, like I'm not sure what their jobs were here. Maybe I'm wrong, but looks like that this scraping edge defender should have been tackling this running back, and then letting Kiko play the quarterback. But anyway, okay. Okay. So look, now we're gonna be in. This is a good sequence that I wrote down. Gidry basically mixing up man and zone, and sort of making it look the same. So let's just watch the play. Okay, so people probably want to know what happened on this play. This is the one where looks like Cam missed a tackle on the sideline. The guy ran. You know, just keep in mind the context, the the context in which this happened. This is following uh, two, 2 3 and outs. This is following the fans getting sort of restless. Some boo birds were coming out, and it just felt like one of those moments where it's like, here we go again with the offense, and um, and what UVA was doing to start the game in the first quarter, in my opinion, sort of opens up this sort of a play call, and it's a real simple play call. But if you're able to run the ball, then you're able to run the simple things that come off of it, like a simple flood concept here. So, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see um, something. It's gonna be basically a layered concept down the sidelines. So we're gonna get a guy down the sideline. We're gonna get this guy doing a deep out, and then we're gonna see this guy being shallow, and so I'm not entirely sure how we treat this. What our rules are. It seems like we got sort of uh, sucked in by the shallow route. TC looks like he's playing a zone, and he should be expanding with this guy here. Okay, he does not. He gets sucked in right here, and and then we get sort of like put out of position. And when we're out of position, we make bad tackles or bad efforts at tackles, and then bad things happen. So here we go. All right, so right now we got two guys on one guy right here. Okay, um, I I'm assuming TC should be out here. Kiko can run with this guy and tackle it if they throw it to him. We leave the second level uh, offensive guy there, and good job on him keeping his balance. Keeping his balance. He's a good player. Um, can't miss a tackle. You know. Um, and then look, so let's see what happens on the next play. So so look, let's again keeping it in context, right? We have a situation where the offense is basically sputtering. Here we go again. We give up a big play. They're knocking on the door, 3rd and 4, and this is yes, things went wrong. Missed assignment, missed tackle, but here we are. Things can get worse, and they don't. And this is super play. Um, yeah, let's roll it. There we go. Kick a field goal. S- Let's see what we got here next. Um, let's see. Time's running down. Um, looks like they're gonna run outside zone uh, to the boundary again, and let's look at this is and people wondered why we played with three linebackers last week, and like a 3-3 look. If you read my post the past week, really there was not much change in the play calling. It was just it was more of a personnel thing, but probably last week running that 3-3 stuff and getting success on it and sort of allowed us to coach up and get ready a guy like Jaden Wayne. Jaden Wayne didn't play great, I think he played very good, considering he's a true freshman. Um, you know, the kid looks the part, but this is a good way to play your gap in an outside zone, right? Where he's keeping his outside arm and leg free and cutting off the flow of the running back, and then allowing your pursuit to get there. So keep an eye on Jaden Wayne right here. Good. Um, all right. So the only thing I would say here, um, you know, um, it looks like we're like in. I think we're in dime. Looks like we brought in another cornerback. We put 22 in the slot, which is where he should be playing, honestly. And then looks like we're gonna bring pressure from the boundary. Usually, when you see a safety in the middle of the field like this, and then like another safety sitting on this, sitting on the numbers, it means something's up. Um, and yeah, bring pressure from the boundary. Good job, guys. Okay, let's move forward to some good stuff. Okay, all right. So previously we spoke about fire zone pressures, right? And this is a little bit of a better look. And so usually like in a fire zone, and I think I have a like a play sheet I can actually show here. Okay, good. So talking about um, talking about fire zone, sort of techniques, and you want to basically so here's a kind of like a similar sort of diagram here. Okay, so it essentially it's a cover three pressure, and then these team curl flat defenders have very specified jobs, and it's why you see teams throw to the flat so many times because essentially the flats are voided zones, and really for a fire zone pressure to work, it has to create confusion. It's you have to basically make your pressure look like something, and then it's something else. And it's more of a it's more of a pressure that if it doesn't get there, it's probably gonna be a first down, and and the only way it's gonna work is if they're sort of confused. So, what you see here is a guy like Cam comes down to the box, and then we have our boundary safety, James Williams, playing like a center fielder, and that quarterback's gonna see our nickel coming off the edge and say, "Hey, look, their field defenders coming at me. Let's throw hot, right?" I mean, that's their first thought. And if you've been watching us for the last 3 weeks, we're more of a cover one pressure team where Gidry, wants to basically tighten up the pressure or tighten up the coverage with the pressure. So if our guys can hold up in coverage, you know, we can get sacks, pressure, everything, and sort of get the whole pie. Or whereas zone pressures don't give you the whole pie, just because it's so weak in the flats. So um, so to kind of like expand on that, the first job of the seam curl flat defender is to like take away the seam, right? Take away this number two going down the middle of the field. If that doesn't happen, if he goes out, gets to the curl, okay, and yes, obviously, they can cover the flat. Really, it's more tackle the flat. So let's if you were to draw it up, there's a safety right here. Uh, Cam, Cam, Cam's kind of cheating down already. Okay, and then we're gonna see TC come off the edge. We're gonna see a stunt. We're gonna see a stunt. Uh, and then we're gonna see this. And Cam, is a super smart player, and he knows that his job is to check hot. Quarterback's gonna get the ball, and as a matter of course, throw it to his hot receiver, and it's a touchdown. All right, good stuff. And it's to sort of like keep with the theme, right? Things didn't start great, came out flat, bad tackling, couple missed assignments, and then there's a clear shift where the guys start tackling better. Yes, like it wasn't perfect moving forward, but just guys sort of gutting it out and um, super good job. All right, let's go to and which brings me to my next clip, which kind of keeps with the theme. 14, 28. All right. Okay, context here. We just threw another interception. Okay, and this gives juice to their team. Don't forget they just beat North Carolina. They won two in a row. It's this is probably the first time this team has had success in 2 years, right? So so they're jacked up, and we see Jared Harrison Hunt right here is gonna get reached, right? So um, Jared Harrison Hunt, like here's your C gap defender getting pushed down the field, not great. Here's your B gap defender getting reached. He should be out here, okay. Um, you know, it should be getting forced back into the flow, okay, and that's not what happens. It's just simple line technique things, and it's partially, you know, I would say it's partially because really no one's done this to us like this so far this year, and so it's somewhat something new to the level that it was done to us um, by UVA. Okay. All right, so this is the next one here. Again, outside zone to the boundary. Once again, right? They kept hitting us with it, and this time we get it. With that jet motion. Keep an eye on our freshman boundary defensive end. Okay, he's a C gap player. He's supposed to be a C gap player based off. I don't think they're playing any stunts or anything like this. And watch what happens to him. So I'm not sure if his job was to stunt in. I'm not sure. Okay, um, if his job is to stunt in, this linebacker got to be way faster. I mean, you know, on the snap of the ball, he's kind of just sitting there. So I think he was wrong. Um, Touchdown, you know, simple things like that. Play your gap, do your job. You know, again, a true freshman. It's you know, you're not expecting everyone to be a guy like Ruben Bain, but on that play, both of our starting defensive ends, or both of our defensive ends on that play were true freshmen. So okay, all right. So let's go to uh, okay. So getting back to a theme that we discussed previously, fire zone. Okay, and Gidry loves to play this fire zone to the field with with Cam Kitchens, right? So because it's he's such a smart instinctual player that he's the kind of, I mean, field fire zones are meant for big plays. It's so basically it's like taking a shot. Okay, it's like, hey, let's see if we can confuse them, get a big play. If not, it's probably gonna be a first down. Okay, so again, like like the interception, we have TC coming off the edge. We got stunts right here, uh, and then we have a scrape right here. James Williams is playing deep middle, seam curl flat, seam curl flat. Okay, and what we get in coverage, or sorry, what we get in the route is really, you really can't fault Cam too much. I mean, really, if you were nitpicking Cam, I would have rather him be right here. Okay, be like a little bit tighter, 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Um, we don't get that, and get a slant. Keep in mind too. You know, this is, you know, it's it's hard enough to play 2 by 2 in a in a like a true cover three look, just because of spacing and the inability to play four vertical with three deep defenders. It's hard enough. When you add in the fact that it's a fire zone, it makes it even more difficult. And some teams will actually run these zone pressures out of like a cover two look. I haven't seen us do it, but that cover two look kind of adds um, one more underneath defender so that things like this don't happen. But you know, good good play call by us. Not so good play call by us, or sorry, good play call by them. Not so good by us. But still, you know, a good tackle by James Williams. You know, could have been a fumble. Good job. Okay, let's go to 18. Okay, so this is my notes on this play were bad and good in the same play. So and I don't remember what this is. Let's see. Okay. All right. All right. So again, okay. So getting to, you know, just the theme of the game, right? Doing things that are good, and then doing things that are not so good. Okay. Looks like we're in a cover one pressure. Okay. Right now, UVA has seven blockers. Okay, so it doesn't look great right now. Okay, so there's one, there's two, there's three, there's four, there's five, there's six. Okay, they've got seven. That's not great. Okay, oh, we got the rest of these guys in coverage. It looks like we have a like a deep safety back here. So it's like a cover one pressure. Um, what's bad is just a simple thing like just keeping your lane right. If we've got six guys in the pressure, six guys in the pressure, they they, they release this guy. That means it's 6 on 6. So we should be able to close the pocket on this guy. We lose contain by number 12. And then the good is James Williams, running to the ball and tackling, right? It's like it's a fourth quarter, 5 minutes left, game on the line, and when it matters, we make the tackle, we run to the ball, and it's something good. So not great right there, and this is great. I mean, just great effort, great effort. And I saw it from my angle. It was not late, and good on him for not for not fighting with that guy. Um, which is probably like the best thing he's done all year. Just kidding. Okay, so couple more points before we go to overtime. So let's move on to okay. All right, what just happened? Okay, so we just tied it up. Uh, Needless to say, I love our kicker. He's awesome. And but up. Okay, so here's it's the same thing keeps happening to us, right? Where we just like get killed in the A gaps, and I'm not sure if this is like an issue where people are doing the wrong job, or if it's a good play call by them, or what. Okay, now just keep an eye. Where's the linebacker here? There's a linebacker. There's a linebacker. Uh, there's a nickel. Okay, so we have a C gap guy here, a C gap guy here. Okay, who's in the A gaps? Okay, because LT started in his A gap, he's gonna go. I'll go into a B gap. Next, Jerry Harrison Hunt is in a B gap. Who's in the A gap? Nobody. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why it happened, but we keep getting hit uh, on these outside zones to the boundary where we're either getting reached on the edge or we're getting reached on the interior and allowing these cutbacks. I mean, this is like, oh shit, here we go again. Here we go again. They're gonna get down the field, kick a field goal. The guy hasn't missed. You know, not great. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Okay. I don't remember what I wrote here. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So look. So again, cover one pressure. We've been doing this a ton, and we're pretty good at it. To be honest with you, if I'm the quarterback and I'm looking at this, um, oh, what do I see? I see Cam Kitchens is over here standing directly in the middle of the field. I see James Williams standing on the numbers. I see a I see a defensive back right here. I see defensive back right here, and I see a nickel right here. Um, Something's up, right? Something's up. So um, it looks like we're gonna get boundary pressure from Dime, the same play call that we spoke about earlier, um, and good coverage, good on us to get the sack. Awesome. All right. So let's wrap it up with overtime. I'm gonna just run these plays straight through. Okay. All right. I don't remember my notes on this, but looks like it Gidry goes to the well right here. Looks like we're in a bear front. And we're just gonna play cover one or not. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't seen us do this where looks like the free safety and the boundary safety change jobs. Where now he becomes the deep middle guy and he's in man coverage with that guy. Looks like they just communicated it on the motion. Okay, good. Good coverage. Good job staying in your past lanes that time. All right, second down. It's looking like the same. It's looking like the same thing. Playing in a bear front. Like our 3-3 stuff. And we're gonna play cover one. What does this tell you guys? It tells you they're probably gonna run an outside zone, right? Let's see. Oh no, play action. Formation to the boundary. Um, third and 8. Yeah, I mean, look, they love running all these pick routes, and frankly, we're pretty good, like in man coverage. But I think what happens here is I think Gidry plays coverage, plays like a cover three look, which I actually think is great. Hey, against a bunch like this, like a trip sponge, I think cover three is great, and we show pressure. I think we drop 4 here. Yeah, and just when they think they're open, great hit, great tackle. Um, and we know what happens there. So, you know, I I I try to pick pick plays that sort of tell the whole story. Yes, there were things that were not good in the first half. There was more bad things in the first half. I think we really sort of buckled down, and I think Gidry's play calling um, by the end of the game like sort of got us back to what we're good at, right? Where a lot of cover one pressure, and it's there's the times that we got hurt. Really, it comes down to just to just run fits. So anyway, just wanted to thank you guys for being here, and we will I'm gonna try and keep these cut down again. Like in under 1 hour, and so yeah, just be in touch on the forums if you guys have any questions, and you know I'll try and answer them in a later podcast. Thanks, guys.